the graves of those who made the ultimate sacrifice. Row upon row, these headstones mark the short lives of those who served and died in war. Yet, this isn't a battlefield in France or Belgium. This is much closer to home. The Commonwealth War Grave Cemetery here at Stonefall in North Yorkshire is the final resting place for more than 1,000 servicemen and women who died predominantly during the Second World War. Stonefall is the largest war cemetery in the north of England, and its presence here in the popular tourist town of Harrogate often causes surprise.
So we're here at Stonefall Cemetery, which is on the outskirts of Harrogate. I think with this site in particular, there are lots of people who have no idea about it, despite the fact there's a big sign at the end of the road which indicates where it is. But there's many people in Harrogate who don't know. In the time that I have been with the Commission, so 7 years, we've seen a real increase in public knowledge here because we've been able to do a lot of media work around this site and also put tours on for the public and give talks, and we mention this site in it. So knowledge is increasing.
The Commonwealth War Graves Commission is responsible for more than 1 million graves worldwide. Though most of these are overseas, around 160,000 can be found right here in the UK. Those responsible for keeping this cemetery and sites like it in pristine condition take a lot of pride in their work. What goes into your role then? People turn up and they enjoy the gardens and the scenery in a place like this, but you're responsible for making sure they look how people expect.
Yes, we have high standards to try and keep to. So these standards are trying to be globalised throughout the world, so we all look the same wherever cemetery you go to around the world. We identify plants that work in this sort of situation. Our main job is to embellish the headstone because the casualty is the main purpose why we're here. So the plants that we choose in front of a headstone don't want to cover or obscure the headstone, so we embellish what's already here. So we need low growing plants, so you need to know your plant identification of what grows and what type of soil and things like that.
It's come over from France. They're all the stones sent to France. They're all engraved. And basically, I do anything to do with the headstones, be it straightening them up, replacing them, putting in new foundations, some of the in-painting, stroke lettering, anything basically you can think of to do with the stonework, I will do.
Is it not a case of, putting a headstone in the ground and then, moving on? These last forever, surely?
They do last forever, but unfortunately modern age and some extreme weather, the headstones crack. Funny enough, they do crack regularly. We do unfortunately get damage from mowers, etc. And basically the headstones, the ground movement, they do start leaning, etc. So we're constantly repairing, replacing, straightening them up.
Almost all of the headstones here are adorned with the insignia of the respective air forces of the Commonwealth. During the Second World War, more than 100,000 sorties over Europe were launched from 25 airfields across North Yorkshire. That's why there's so many war graves here today.
This is a story that typifies really a lot of the stories of the casualties that we have here at Stonefall. We're at the grave of Lloyd Hanna, and he was serving with the Royal Canadian Air Force. He was based in Lincolnshire. He was flying on an active bombing mission, and just after takeoff they realised that there was a fire in the engine. Lloyd advised the rest of the crew to bail out. He stayed with the plane, and unfortunately, by choosing that course of action, he actually lost his life as well. And his younger brother Harold was actually stationed in Britain with the Canadian Air Force at the same time. Harold came to Lloyd's funeral and actually wrote a letter home to their mother saying that he wished that he would be half the man that Lloyd was. Very sadly, Harold was on a Pathfinder flight over Germany when a piece of shrapnel pierced the plane's canopy and entered Harold's lung, knocking him unconscious. Unfortunately, Harold never recovered, and he died 2 months later in hospital. And in fact, if you look down the rows, you will see that Harold's headstone is just 5 rows back from his brother's.
It's not just service personnel from across the Commonwealth who are remembered here. There's also a number of foreign national graves at Stonefall too, including this gentleman, Johann. He was a German prisoner of war, and he was actually being held here locally in Harrogate, and he sadly died just after the war ended in 1946.
It's really important for people to remember. Most of those who lost their lives and are buried in this site were young men in their late teens and early 20s. We have a story portal now at the Commission called Forevermore, where families can upload the personal stories about the casualties. The Commission carries rank that somebody was, their date of death, where they're buried, who they were serving with. But to get those interesting facts about, what somebody was like as a child, what they were working as before they were called up, and all of that kind of information, it's lovely now that families can upload that onto our Forevermore story portal.
As the UK prepares to mark 80 years since VE and VJ Day in 2025, it's thanks to the dedication of those who care for sites like Stonefall that we can honour and remember our greatest generation the way they deserve. And for those looking to learn more and perhaps pay their own respects this anniversary year, you needn't look too far to find locations like Stonefall right here in the UK. James Wharton, BFBS Forces News, Harrogate, North Yorkshire. Thanks for watching. For more from BFBS Forces News, like and subscribe to our channel.